Chris, how much do you relish moments like this?
During the game, not too much. I'm just focused on the next kick. I mean, after the game, obviously you think about stuff you did good and stuff you did bad and, things you could correct and try to not to, get too high or too down on myself and try to stay, even keel and just play throughout the season. And I can think about this game, sometime in February.
Chris, you obviously wanted the ball on the right hash or more towards the middle. Is that the impetus of Ben's belly flop or whatever that was?
Honestly, I wasn't paying attention. I was kicking in the net, and then I turn around and, everyone's yelling, it's time for field goal. So, I mean, no matter where they put the ball on the field, my job is to make it, and just going to do my best to do that.
Is there a different way of how you operate when you're kicking at the open end of hives, which can be notorious to be a little bit tougher, especially when you're having a kick of that magnitude?
No, each kick, you just approach it that kick, no matter the wind or not. Of course you have to play certain elements of it, but it doesn't change, the strike of the ball, the contact, anything. The only thing that changes, a little angles or a little aiming points and stuff like that. So I don't really think too much about any of that.
Chris, you guys chose to go in that direction. Is that something that you have an input in? Do you like kicking in that direction?
They asked me if I kicked off, where would I like to kick off towards, and in the middle of the field, the wind was blowing towards the open end tonight. And so, obviously I'd rather have the wind in my back than in my face, like anybody would. So just kind of went with that.
You've been in the league long enough now, this might be an exaggeration to say that short of time, but like 50-yard field goals used to be an anomaly, like sort of like a big kick. Now it feels like kickers are, if you don't make a 50-yarder, you're not any good.
Yeah, I mean, just around the league this year, the 50s and even 60-pluses are insane. Like, I want to say Prater has like 4 or 5 60-plus attempts on the season. And it just shows how much we've come, I guess, in kicking and, how much we expect of each other. And once one guy hits a 60, it just ricochets throughout the league, and now everyone wants to hit 60s. So, I mean, it's good for the league and good for the kickers in the league.
You happy to see Presley get the big punt out of your own end to kind of set up that game-winning field goal?
No, yeah, and, he did a good job tonight bouncing back. He had that one punt, and then the next punt he had was, 60 in the air, put him out of bounds at the 15. And, as a young guy, that's something you have to work on mid-game. You can't really set that up. And just to have that, attitude that he has right now is really good to see from a young guy.
There are so many emotional plays over the last few plays of the game. How have you learned to keep yourself just even-keeled and not be
just because my job doesn't depend on calls or what the offense and defense are doing. If I called to kick, I have to kick, no matter what the situation is or what happened 5 minutes before at the end of the game. So I just kind of focus on that, control what I can control.